just admire my wall, how amazing it is. All my own designs. Definitely. Hey guys, so today I'm going to do the Unpopular Opinions book tag. This was created by the Book Archer, and I'll link her original video in the the description bar below. If anybody else wants to do this tag, then I tag you. Nobody tagged me because nobody knows I exist. And on that note, let's get on with the questions. Question 1. What is a popular series or book that everybody else liked but you didn't? And for this one, I will probably have to go with I don't have any books right now because I'm in Japan and my books are all home, so I will just put pictures here. But for this question, I would probably say Legend by Marie Lu. Here is a book, hopefully. There. Basically, I would choose Legend because although I read the first book and I started Prodigy, there we go. I didn't finish it because I kind of lost interest, and then I eventually just kind of was like went off the bandwagon. And it's not that I didn't particularly like it. I did really like it, but I think I just kind of was in the whole dystopian kind of world at that point, and I was reading so many different books, and I just kind of, it all just blended into one, and I was just kind of like And then another book, this one is actually a manga this time, is Koizora by, 1 minute, it's written by Ibuki Haneda, and I read, this was one of the first mangas that I ever read, probably outside of like, you know, the cute girl turns into a girl who, you know, has superpowers and stuff. It's about this girl called Mika who basically falls in love with this delinquent boy called Hiro, and they kind of like, you know, fall in love, and you know, it's all happy doody-da until, you know, shit goes down, like and you know, I liked it and I still kind of do, but there is a big spoiler that I don't agree with. If you don't want to hear the spoiler, then go away now until I put down my hand. You know, don't leave. Okay, so the spoiler is that basically Hiro, the main love interest, doesn't want Mika to be unhappy with him. So in the manga, he decides the way he's gonna do that and to get her to break up with him is he rapes her. Can you see how problematic that is? And now that I think back on it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? That is so... do I even need to explain how bad that is? And they end up breaking up, and then, you know, obviously, and then she ends up dating another guy for like a couple of years, and then they end up getting back together, and he was like, oh yeah, I only did that because, you know, I didn't want you to, you know, I wanted you to be happy. And it was like, what the fuck? Second question is a popular book or series that everybody seemed to hate but you loved. And for this one, I got 2 again. I've got The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I nearly said Neil Patrick Harris then. Where did that come from? But no, basically The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Neil Patrick Harris, and they're basically about I think it's like a group of 5 teenagers who end up living in a world where they're other people in their year at school have superpowers, and they're the ones that, you know, they're just the normal ones. And I know that a lot of people like this book, but I also know that a lot of the other booktubers, there were quite a few who didn't really like it compared to his other books like A Monster Calls and, you know, like Coraline and stuff like that. Note, Coraline was written by Neil Gaiman. But no, so The Rest of Us Just Live Here, I really enjoyed that book. I don't know why, I think it just gave everybody a sense that even if you're normal, you can still have an adventure. And then the second one is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. It was the second book after Everything, which I haven't yet read, but I read this one first out of the 2. They're not connected at all, but most people read Everything first because it was her first book. But I read The Sun Is Also a Star, and I really liked it. Although it's got a bit of like insta love to it. Like it's about these two people who end up going around New York. I could be wrong. It's been 2 years since I read it, and they end up going around New York, I think, and they spend a day together, but they've only just met, and like, but I kind of liked how it worked. I don't really like insta love. I think if it's done well, I can believe in it. And also, spoiler, don't come back after I put my hand down. Spoiler, they don't actually end up together, and they only end up meeting years later, and then the story ends. So I kind of see that as, you know, realistic compared to other insta love stories. The third question is an OTP that you did not like. And for this one, I'm gonna go with the Koizura ship couple again, which is Mika and Hiro. And although in the beginning they are kind of cute together, but if you stayed for the spoiler that I just told everyone, then you will understand why later on didn't really ship them anymore. And then I have another one, and this is also a manga, and it's called Blackbird, and it's basically about this girl who ends up being a source of power to demons. Sounds very strange, doesn't it? But you know when you're that age where you're like 13 and you find a book where you're like, oh, you know, oh, yes, I love everything about it, and now I just look back at it and it's really problematic. But basically, the couple in that is called Misao and Kyo, and Kyo is a demon, already forbidden there, innit? And then Misao is just a human girl, and she just, like, you know, but she ends up being like this forbidden fruit that can, you know, if a demon eats her, they get really, really powerful. And that already sounds really problematic, especially when her love interest is a demon. Already sounds weird, doesn't it? Like, but it's supposed to be that he is her love interest, and therefore he's allowed to be, he's kind of abusive to her, so he's like, you can't see any of your friends, you can't do this, you can't do that, and like he always forces himself on her. He never actually, you know, literally forces himself on her, but it's still enough where you're like, But then guess what? If anyone else does it, it's seen as abuse, but because he is her love interest and she's in love with him, it's seen as okay. I got 9 books into this series. How did I even get through this? I fucking hate it. Rant over, next question. Question 4. A popular or beloved character that you didn't really like. So for this one, I would probably say, do you say Jason? Isn't it? And it's just written differently, but Jason from the Lunar Chronicles. He's in the last book. He ends up getting, spoiler, winter. In the Lunar Chronicles series. I don't really mind him, but I don't know, I just found him kind of broody and annoying, and I don't really, you know, like everyone gets really like, oh, I love Fawn, like, you know, and I love Kai as well, and even Wolf, you know. Are you called Wolf? I actually don't. I need to reread this series. But no, Jason, he kind of annoyed me. He was just really broody, and he just, I mean, I can understand he's under like Queen Lavana's powers, but at the same time I was just kind of like, even when he was with Winter, he was really like just like the broody god who looked after her. And I understand that obviously he can't get close to her because then, you know, he could die, his family could die, Winter could die. I get that, but he was just so fucking broody. Next question. Question 5. A popular author that you can't seem to get into. I don't have a particular author that I can think of for this one, but in terms of maybe classic authors, I tried reading Jane Eyre once, and oh my god, I needed a translator for that shit. And then I'm reading Pride and Prejudice at the moment because one of my friends really, really loves that book, and I'm reading it, and parts of it I can understand, but at the same time I'm like, what are you on about? Speak English. I mean, I know you're from the 17th century, but speak in English now, please. So yeah, probably classic writing, so I would include all those authors. Those are the only ones I really find hard to, you know, get into because I don't know what they're saying. Question 6. A book trope that you are tired of seeing. Do I even need to explain what mine is? A character that shows abusive behaviour to another character and is still seen as a good person. Fuck that shit. I ain't about that life. Okay. Question 7. A book series or book that you have no interest in reading. And I never say never because, you know, I may change my mind later on. But on my little notepaddy thing, I have a couple. I have The Mortal Instruments, The Infernal Devices, and is it the Dark Artifacts series by Cassandra Clare. I've never picked it up, but I've just heard so many mixed reviews, and they all say you have to get past the 3rd book to get into it, and I'm like, why can't I get into it in the 1st book? I'm not paying, you know, like £20-30 to get to the 3rd book and then be like, oh, I finally like it. You know, what happens if I don't like it? I ain't about that life. I said that a lot in this video. I ain't about that life. I'm like, from the hood. And then also 50 Shades of Grey. We've established from this video that I'm really not for that kind of shit. Final question. What movie or TV adaptation do you think is better than the book? A lot of the time I think books are always better, but in this case I think, although I haven't watched The Scorch Trials or The Death Cure, I really preferred the Maze Runner film to the book. Especially because in the book, Thomas and Chuck, Thomas really doesn't like Chuck, and he's really, like, you know, he's like, oh, he's so annoying, all this, like, you know, when he's actually like 11 or something, he's just a little kid, you know, and he's in this big place that can kill him or whatever, you know. I don't blame him for being annoying, you know, we love Chuck. But then, spoiler, till hand goes down, go away, spoiler, when Chuck dies, Thomas is seen as, like, all of a sudden it's like his best friend, and you're like, dude, you were saying you hated this kid like 5 minutes ago. Whereas in the film, they actually get along and they have quite a good bond, and then when he dies, it's a lot more heartbreaking. And just in general, it worked better on screen. It was like kind of hard to, you know, visualise everything in the book. And then the second one, although I only read a bit of the books and I didn't actually finish the series again, I actually did prefer The Vampire Diaries as a, you know, as a TV show than the books. The books weren't very well written, although I can find problems in the series, and I didn't actually continue on until after about season 4, I think. I still kind of kept up with it and I still kind of knew what was happening. I just like read online and stuff, but it was definitely more compelling than reading it, in my opinion anyway. Okay, I forgot one of the questions, so this is the last question. It's what genre do you generally not reach for? And I would probably say sci-fi. The only sci-fi book that I've actually read that I got all the way through was 172. The only sci-fi book that I actually got through was 172 Hours on the Moon, and that was good. I mean, it wasn't the greatest sci-fi book ever. I mean, I haven't really read any, but like I tried to read The Martian, and I loved the film, but I couldn't get through it. Like, there's just too many sciencey stuff going on. It's very hard. I'm not particularly, you know, I'm not the most intelligent person on the planet, therefore science isn't going to necessarily be the most compelling thing for me to read. I don't know if I said in my last video, I don't think I did because I just panicked and ended it, but because I'm in Japan and I'm studying Japanese as my degree, I thought I would do a little segment at the end of each video which has, like, I teach you a new word based on, you know, what I've talked about in each video, and I thought today the word could be book, just to, you know, keep it going with the booktube feel. We're gonna go with book, and in this case book is pronounced in Japanese as hon. Hon kind of sounds like hun, but with an O and not a U. So yeah, this is what book is in Japanese, and I will hopefully see you next week with another video. Bye!